Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I've been a demonstrator for over 8 years now, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already subscribed or watched me before, I'd love you to do so if you just hit the subscribe button. And also in there'll be a little bell if you want to be notified each time my tutorials go up. Then just hit the little bell and you'll be notified that they're ready to watch. I've got a couple of groups here, or a group and a page. My Facebook page is called Cards by Laura. You can follow along in that page. There's lots of cards and photos in there of the cards that I've done over the years. It's just for viewing in there. There's no tutorials or anything in that Cards by Laura group page. I've got a Facebook group called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. There's almost, I think, well, it's over 13,000 members in that group. It's a very large group. It's not exclusive to Stampin' Up, so you can go in there and share your ideas. There's a files tab in there where all the PDFs for this will be posted. And also the featured tab is where I pin my live videos that I do on a Saturday morning. Through the week I give you measurements for the card that I'm doing, and then you can craft along with me on the Saturday. That group you need to request to join. There's 2 questions there. One, why you wish to join the group, and also that you agree to the rules. If you don't see those 2 questions on the device you're on, try swapping to something else. If you're on your phone and the questions are not there, try a PC or a iPad and see how you go there. You must answer the 2 questions to be part of the group. Lovely big group and lots of people sharing their ideas. With all that being said, if you're watching today and you're a regular watcher, my channel is called Creative Gems. If you let your friends know that I do videos once a week on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. With all that said, I shall move that out of the road, and this is what we're doing today. It's called, well, I've called it a surprise explosion box. I've designed this myself. I did scale it down from a bigger version, but then the inside is totally different to anything that I've seen before. So it's pretty much my design. And this is how it works. This is a box on the outside. I've decorated all the little box on the outside. Open it up and we have another little surprise in here, which you lift the lid on, and this fits a lovely little Ferrero Rocher or any sort of chocolate around that size. And that's what I'm going to do this morning. And this little lid sits on the top of that to cover it over. There was someone in my group the other day. There was another little box that I did similar to this, and the lady wanted it to make one for her son who is proposing to his girlfriend, and he was going to put a little ring box or a little ring in there, somehow fix that so that he could put the ring in there and use it as a surprise. These just fold inwards and then you pop the lid on the top like so. All good. As usual, I've prepped all my pieces, which these measurements will be in the description box of this video today. But if you want the full tutorial on assembly, it will be in my Craft Room Tips and Tutorials Files tab. I'm just looking at my spelling here on something. I've spelled it wrong, but that's okay. I know what it means. So we'll get started. I'll give you all the pieces. I've also put tags because there's so many pieces to put together. This is my main base. Now there's some odd measurements here, but that's so that the lids and all the pieces fit together. So there are a few odd pieces. My main base is 7 7/16 by 7 7/16. That's that one. And then my outer pieces that I'm going to use, which are these ones around the outside of the main box, they're 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and you'll need that might be the inner ones. Yes, that's the inner ones, which I've got here. That's these. There's 5 of those. and they're 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and the same with these 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, but there's only 4 of these because we've just got the, on the inside you've got the extra one I've put down underneath. You probably don't need that one there, but I felt it finished it off nicely. I'll leave the lid off that for a minute. So that's all of those. Then we have the diagonal squares. These are these little ones here. They're 2 inches by 2 inches, and you only need 2, and you cut them into quarters. I've already cut mine, but I will show you when we get to them how I cut them. It's just cutting from corner to corner twice to give you a little triangle, a small triangle out of 2 pieces. So that's those. We'll leave those aside. My outer box lid, which will be in vanilla. That first colour there is in Old Olive, and the paper I'm using is the Green and Gold Designer Series paper. It's an online exclusive at the moment. My outer box lid is 4 inches by 4 inches, and the mat that goes onto that, we've done all those. That's this one here, which I've already stuck together. It's 4 by 4. 4 by 4 is the lid. The mat for the lid is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. That's the green under there, and then the DSP for the lid is 2 by 2. And I've coordinated, excuse me, all these pieces together. And I'll just have a mouthful of water while I'm croaky. I seem to manage to go croaky every time I do a video, so bear with me. I've just done a little greeting to put on the top of that. So that's those pieces. The embossed side pieces, which I'm going to do again in the green. So that'll be green on the vanilla. Those ones there. There's 4 of those, and they're 2 1/4 by 1/2 inch. And I've embossed them with the metal plate 3D. It's got like a little starry effect when you emboss it, so I thought it went nicely with this DSP because the diamonds on this on here is like a similar pattern to the little diamond that's on there. That's where I chose that one. The insert of my box is this one here. This is the base part. It's 2 15/16 by 5 3/8. And I'll show you how to score that. And that's this little part in the bottom here, down in the bottom there. I'll show you how to do all that. The lid for that, which is this one here, is 8 1/2 by 3 1/8. And then the DSP on the top is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And I've got all those bits here. Base. That's the piece. It's going to get stuck down, and then we're going to die cut out of that. I'll just leave that tag on there so I don't get it mixed up. And that's the top of the inside box. I've done that same decoration. I'm just going to put a little bell on the top. 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 is the DSP, and not sure what size that is. I'll give you the sizes of that when we get to it. DSP for the inside box lid, which is this one here. That's those DSP there. 1 3/4 by 1 3/8, and there's 4 of those. Goes around the outside. And the mat for the top, oh, that's those here. 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, that's that one. And the DSP is 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. And I've just die cut a little bell out of that, which the dies are in that same set. That's my inner box lid there. Where am I? Back here. 8 1/2 by 3 1/8. That's that one over that side. So we'll get to that one in a minute. The dies and stamp set that I've used, all the dies that I've used, and they're called Gold and Greenery. And a lot of these dies cut out the paper. A lot of these images here, they cut out the images on the paper. There's 2 bells there, one large and one small, and lots of other little images that you can stamp or just die cut the paper. The greeting I've chosen on that other piece is, this is a retired set, so, but there are, I noticed in the new mini catalogue there are a few small greetings. This says a very Merry Christmas to you, and I've taken it from that vintage Christmas one, which is retired now. So that's all the pieces. There's my other bell that's going on the top of that. I'll put that aside. And we've done all of those. I'll just keep all that aside. We'll tidy up this stuff everywhere and we shall get started. I'll just put that aside, but those measurements will be in the description box of this video, and you can just follow along with the video if you want to do it without the PDF if you don't wish to join my group. But the whole PDF will be in the files tab in there. So we'll start with the main base here. This is the outside section. There's just a bit of cutting to do on this. We'll leave that there. I need my trimmer. So we're going to score this first at 2.5. I'll take that one off. We're going at 2.5 this way. And score, rotate 180, score at 2.5 that way, and the same with this, 2.5 on there, and rotate and do 2.5 there. So you've got 9 equal squares all up. So that's that. Then I'm going to cut off these corners. So I need, I'll cut the corners first and then I'll show you what we're doing next. I'll need a pencil in a minute. So I'm going to cut from that score line to that score line there, cutting off the corners. So just line the score line up in the track, diagonal cut. And we're cutting off the 4 corners to make that shape that we had in the track. That's one. They'll be little scrap pieces for something later on. And the same with this corner here. We're going to cut it off. It's pretty self-explanatory, this video, or this card box. Cut that one off. Try and get it exactly in the track so you've got a nice even corner. So that one there. Oops, no, this one here. You can't go wrong. Just cutting the corners off, put it nicely in the track, trying to line it up exactly in there, and the last one. And then we shall need a pencil, and either you can do it on your trimmer or just free with a ruler. So what you need to do on these corners, you need to find halfway on this outer edge. So it measures from there to there. I'll just give you the exact measurement, 1 3/4. So that's 3.5 from there, from that point to that point. So at halfway is 1 3/4. Actually, I will use a pencil and a ruler because you lose the measurement on the top of that if you do it that way. So just grab yourself a pencil and a ruler, and at the 1 3/4 mark, we'll put it up here. 3.5 is there, 1 3/4 there. Just put a little pencil mark. Go to this section here. This is in the pieces where you've cut it off. 1 3/4 there. So you're doing all 4 corners. 1 3/4. The lady that did make this card box originally, she had it done with a piece of 12 by 12, and I try to avoid using 12 by 12 cardstock only because not everybody buys 12 by 12 cardstock. So now I'm going to rule a line from that crossover point here. So I'm putting my ruler there and up there. And I'm going to rule just a faint line. You can rub it out. That's where we're going to score. So I'll put that there. And I'm going to score freehand with a stylus, not on my trimmer. You probably don't need to rule the lines, but I find if you're not too, if you're a bit of a beginner, it's best if you do rule some lines for yourself so you get it exactly right. Now, my stylus, which I've got a spare one here. So we're going to score on that pencil line. Now you could have just not done the pencil line and taken from that first little notch that you made with your pencil across to that centre score line in there where the two score lines cross over. And I'm going to give that a good score down there. So all of the pencil lines we're going to score. Give it a good press because it's got to be bent eventually. Once I've ruled these, we can rub out the pencil line. Pressing quite firmly on that, so it gives it a nice bend for you. And then I shall get my rubber and rub out those pencil marks. Oops, I'm rubbling the camera there. Probably should have not drawn the lines because they're coming out of the score line. Probably stands out more if you're on white cardstock, which you would probably see all the pencil lines are gone. I've got a nice score line there to go by. So this here, all you're going to do is bend that inwards. You can, I'll show you where we go. These are all coming upwards. These, the first score lines that you did, the vertical and horizontal ones. My bone folder. You can fold and burnish those. You could fold and burnish before you do those diagonal score lines, but I find if it's nice and flat, you get nicely into the corners. So I would do them after. So that's the horizontal and the vertical ones. So then these that you've just done, they will push upwards. And all you've got to do is pinch them, bring that across, and you've got a nice edge down there where it's lining up with that side. And give that a burnish in there. Just burnish that score line that you've done. Same with this one, give it a pinch, pull it up, make sure they're lined up nicely on the outer edge like that. If you've scored right into the corner, then you know it's going to be nice and even all the way around. And then this one here, pinch it upwards, just give it a push, it'll go where you need to go. That's number 3. I'm just trying to make sure I see in there to burnish it. And the last one. So your edges there will line up nicely along the edge. And then it's just a matter of decorating. So we'll see if we I haven't glued anything because I wanted to show you that scoring, how I do it. So I've got 4 of these, which will be the outside. 5 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the little triangles are in the other pattern the same, so it'll coordinate with this. I'll get my glue. I know I haven't got my silicone mat here, so we'll try not to make a mess on the workspace. So we're just gluing all of these. I know this is the boring part to watch, but it's well worth it when you're finished. You could lay all these out beforehand if you're not sure where they go, but they're pretty self-explanatory. 5 on the inside and 4 on the outside, because the top of the box on the outside gets decorated a bit different. And I find the liquid glue is easier to use because you've got a little bit of wiggle room to get it nice and straight. I've just started, actually I did an order the other day for some products out of the mini catalogue. We've got a retreat coming up here in October, and we're doing mostly Christmas themed cards, but I haven't done a lot of Christmas stuff just yet. It's a bit early. We're only halfway through August, or a little bit over halfway through August, so a bit early to start Christmas for me. It spoils the fun at the end if you start too early. I think it does, although if you've got to do a lot of cards, a friend of mine, she has a business and she does Christmas cards for her business, and actually I found out the other day she does, she was doing 900, but she's doing 1100 this year because she's doing some for her son for his business. So she starts in May and gets them all done by early December, and they're all handmade cards, usually a fancy fold type card, but relatively easy to do because she bulk does them in the evenings. Now you can see that's going up like so, and then these little triangles, these ones, and I'll show you how it worked. So there would have been 4 before you cut them. That one would have been there. That's not right, but it ended up 2 inches by 2 inches. I can't remember which way I cut them now. So that's your 2 inches. That's 3. They do fit in there. It might have been, where's my measurements? 2 by 2, 2 of. Just double check those. Well, then maybe they're 3 by 3. I might have that measurement wrong, but I'll fix that. I think they're 3 by 3 and then cut into quarters. So we've got 2 there. We'll put them all in, but I'll fix the measurement. So just bear with me before you print off anything. I'll have the correct measurement in the description box. I was sure they were. Where's my tweezers? Pick these up. So they'll pop into these little spare spots here. I know I cut them into quarters, so I will make sure the measurements are correct for you before I post it. It's not a video unless it's some sort of oops on it. Can't be perfect every time. It's easy enough to correct my instructions. Went to a retreat a couple of weeks ago. We had 9 ladies that went away. We all did a fancy fold card. It was a lovely weekend. We had Friday night, Saturday night, came home Sunday. There was 9 of us all together that did a project. We had a fun weekend. Very relaxing. Thoroughly recommend it. My retreat here, I host one here twice a year. I can take a maximum of 12 ladies comfortably out in the back area of my house. I have got 13 this time. I was a bit overwhelmed. I'd put the event up one day and 3 days later it was full. So, and I ended up taking 1 extra because there was 2 people at the last minute that wanted to come and I couldn't say no to either of them. So now we have 13, and I've got 2 ladies that can't come on the weekend but would still like the projects. So we'll do the kits up for them and they can do them at home. Everything is cut and prepped, stamped and cut I should say, and all they have to do is assemble and there's PDFs that go with them, so they can follow along from that, how to put it together. But I like the in-person. I do in-person workshops and classes here at my home as well every month. Love what I do. So that's the inside done. Now we can put these on the outside. I'm going to just put the leaves all facing the same way. And there's none in the middle section of this, and I didn't decorate. You could even decorate these triangles on the outside, but I found it was a bit too much. Now, this is going to sit this way, so I'm going to make sure the leaves pretty much sit the right way. If you've got to, you're better off if you can use non-directional paper with things like this, that it matters that you get the direction right when you're putting panels on. But if you use a pattern that's not any direction, then would be much easier. This one's not too bad. Wouldn't matter if you had leaves upside down. I know a lady posted a card in my group one time, and she's a friend of mine, so she won't mind me mentioning it. She had that aeroplane, but when she had the thing on the card right, but when she posted the picture, the plane was upside down. She posted the picture upside down, and I said, "Oh, I just thought it was doing a bit of stunt flying, because it the plane was on its head." But she quickly took the picture out and posted one that was the correct way up. So that's the outside, and that still pulls up like so. So that's all that complete. Now we shall do the inner box. Inner box base that's the lid, and the base is this one here. So we'll do the base first, and there is a bit of die cutting which I'll do over the back. We need this, and I'll just get my instructions so I make sure I tell you the right piece. Insert box. With the short side at the top, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So that's the short side up that side. This piece measures, this is the 2 17/16. Or 2 and 15/16, sorry. 2 and 15/16 and 3 and 7/16. 3 and 7. Where am I? Insert box. Oh no, that's the scoring. I'll go back to my, I won't tell you the wrong thing. 2 and 15/16 by 5 3/8. So that's this piece here. So on the short side, you're scoring at 1/2 inch. That's on the short side. Rotate 180 and score at 1/2 inch on that side. Then the long side at the top, you're doing 1/2 inch. This is all the way across the longer side. 1/2 inch, 1 inch. All these measurements will be in the tutorial. 2 and 15/16. So that's one stroke before the 3. That tiny shorter line. 2 and 15/16 and 3 and 7/16. 7 8/16 is a 1/2, so it's the one before the 1/2 is 7/16. That's if you've got a trimmer. Otherwise, I'm sure you can count the little strokes across. So you should end up with 2 score lines down either the long side, and here you've got 2 score lines close together and 2 close together there. This is where you're going to cut out the section in the middle to put the chocolate. And there's a piece of DSP here, which is this one here. It's going to sit in here, which I'm going to glue down. Where am I? Oh, there. I've missed the score line. That's the score line there and there. So in between these, where the double score lines are together, this piece goes in the centre of that. It's nicely in there, and I'm going to glue it down fairly firmly because it's going to get die cut, and I don't want any gaps that it's going to sort of be loose once I've die cut it. So we'll pop that in there. It's just got a little 1/16 border all the way around, like so. I just want that to set a little minute, because if I die cut it while it's still wet, actually we can do the cutting on this as well. And I've got, this is my PDF of one of the pages. I've got diagrams here of where you cut all the pieces and stuff, so it tells you here where to cut all your tabs and things, so you can go by that to do all your cutting, if you can follow the diagrams. So these here, we'll fold and burnish these. I'm doing this now because I'm waiting for that gluey piece in the middle there to set a bit. So I'll fold and burnish all those bits. Just having another mouthful of water. And that one. And then the side ones. You could use tear and tape to put your pieces down. I'm going to use tear and tape on my tabs, on my box parts, because I don't want them lifting. So that's those. Now, with the long side facing you, doesn't matter which way, you're going to cut up these tabs. These are the two little tabs in the centre, and then there's another two up here. And then remove this bottom section. That is at the front of the box where it will flap inwards. So that creates a tab on this end. Then go to the other side, remove that first corner piece. This is on the end where the double score lines are, not the other end. It's where the double scores are. So we remove that piece and then just cut up the other score lines that are there, like so. And then you're going to notch your tabs. Now these little ones are your tabs. So you're going to notch that and that. And the same with this one. This little one here is a notch. And I'll show you where to put the tear and tape. I'll show you from my diagram on my instructions. We'll notch this little one. And this one here. So that's all the tabs notched. Then this end tab on here, you can give it a little bit of a notch as well, just so it'll fit nicely when you glue your box together. Just trying to take a slither off that. And that's all the notching you'll need to do. Just put all that in the bin. Now we'll die cut this. Now I use the same die on the lid of my, this is on the lid of the inside box, and I've got these two dies. So I use that smaller one for the greeting and the mat for the greeting, and then this other bigger one. It's I'll tell you the width of it. It's about 1.5, just under, oh yeah, close to probably 1 7/8 inch in diameter, and it fits. You just want a little bit either side there. The cut line is in the center of the die, so I'll just head over the back for a sec, and I'm going to center that on there and die cut it out. I'm taping it down so it doesn't move when I put it through as well. know something. Just be gentle if you do tape it, that you don't pull your cardstock too much. You could use a punch on this, but make sure I did a different project the other day and I used a punch and I didn't center it and it looked really out of place. I find the dies better to get it more central. So that's that. Now, I'll show you my photo here of where you're going to put your tape. You probably can't see it as well. I've got tape on your little tabs and tape on this back section here, and then we'll flip it over and I'll show you where to put the tape on the others. You'll see from this where I'm putting it now, but there is a photo there, so I can put just one little one on these pieces, these smaller tabs. Get it reasonably close to your score line, but not on it. You could use glue here, liquid glue, if you wish, but I prefer tape if it's to do with boxes. I think it's stronger and holds them together better. So that's those little tabs. And the other section will be these two back sections here that need the tape. So one along there and one on the other side. If you can't see it on the photo too well, I'll hold this here for a second. You can take a screenshot of it. So that's the tape on that side. Then you're going to flip it over and we need tape on these two front ones along here. There is a reason when you tuck these tabs in, they're all quite hidden and you can't see them through the hole. Another one on there and on the inside of this outer one here. So that's where all your tape goes. And that's on the underside of those. Burnish all of my tape. Always burnish it so it sticks down nicely. So now these two inner tabs, you can take the backing off those, which I need my pick tool. So the two inside little tabs you can remove. And they will fold backwards to the back section. This is your front or your top section. So the under section, you'll fold them back. Get them nice and even on the edge there. So you've got a nice crisp edge there. And this one here, folding it backwards like so. These front ones here will come, this comes over this one goes underneath. So that's the top. You want this nice edge at the top. So this one will tuck under. Take the backing off that. We might go this way first. I want this end tab here, I want it on the outside because when you look through the hole, you don't want to be able to see it in there. So we'll take these off. We can take them all off and I'll show you where to put them. It's sort of self-explanatory where they go. So I'll take this one off. I'll do that end one last. So these, you want that nice edge there. If you tuck it in there, you'll end up with this raw edge along here. So put that over the top like so on the outside. Actually, I'll tuck in this little tab first. We'll go this little one first. You're trying to get them all hidden in between each other. So tuck that one in there and there. So it will end up in between the two longer ones. Just a little bit of manoeuvring here. That's those two. Then that's the top. You want those inside that. Tuck them in there so they're not seen. And push it in. It will go in nicely by itself. Push that down. that one down. That way all the folded, all the raw edges are on the outside and you don't see anything in here. And then this last one will come up over, it'll be down at the bottom underneath everything. Take that one off, push that one down, and you can go in there with your finger and just push it all down. And that way it's all nice and clean in there. You don't see any of the pieces in there. And then that's going to sit in here. We can put that in now. I'll glue it in. Doesn't need tape on this. Glue will hold it nicely. Fair bit of glue. And then we've just got the lids to do. So centre that one as much best you can in the centre there. Just give it a good press down. Whoops. On this gold foil paper it does slip a little bit. Make sure it's nice and even. That's that one. We're getting there. I knew it would take a bit longer than normal, so bear with me. There's a lot of pieces to do. So now we've got our inner box lid, which is this one here. Got bits everywhere here. What's that bit? Sides of the inner box, that's that one there. So this one with the short side, we'll put that up there a little bit, those out of the road, trigger over. With the short side at the top, we're scoring at 1.5, which is there. So one side will be longer than the other on this way. One side's a fraction longer because that is 3 1/8 wide. So you're doing 1.5 on one side, and then it's a little bit wider on the other side. Then turn to the long side, and you're going to go at 2, 4. Move that out of the road. Out 6 inches. 2, 4, 6, 8. This one. 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, and 8. And 8, because it's 8 1/4 long, you've got the 1/4 inch tab at the end. And there's photos in there of the cutting and scoring of this one as well. Excuse me. The DSP goes on the longer panel, so I shall just measure to make sure, and I'll mark them. So this is the longer side. 1 5/8 is the longer side, so that's the side that the DSP is going on. I'm just going to put a cross on those. That's where the DSP goes, and the top is the ones that you need to cut. And you're not notching these either. You want it nice and square. Just need my scissors. Got a bit of a mess here. So all of these on the side that we're going to cut, which is this side down the bottom here, we're going to remove this end tab piece. That there, it's a long rectangle piece. That's going to get removed altogether. And you can notch that little piece, because that's your tab, just on one side. And then you're going to cut up these pieces here, like so. Just make sure you're putting your DSP and your cuts on the correct side. So then I'll fold that over and burnish it. Put the DSP on these, which is this, sides of the inner box for the lid. So these will go in on here. There's 4 of those. We can stick them straight down. They're not squares, they're an odd shape. So if you're putting them on the correct sections, then you'll know that they're not square. I'm not too worried about the direction is running the right way, but I'll just double check. So that will be the lid. So I've got them right. This is the bottom. The lid is the part where you're going to fold those across. So I'll try and get these the right way up. So we end up with leaves running the right way. Apologies if my video is a bit long today, but you can stop and start and not watch all the gluing bits if you wish. Easy to do. Another one up that way. If you're not sure, mark your put a cross on the sections where you're going to put your DSP, and then line the DSP up on it to make sure it does fit in there, and then go ahead and cut the other side. So you know you're cutting the correct side. You must cut there's photos on the PDF for you to have a look at. So that's that. Now we need a piece of tear and tape on this little tab here, just on that end. There, just one strip's quite enough. Burnish that. Now when you do this, all you've got to do is fold it like so. Actually, we haven't burnished those score lines yet. We'll make it a nice crisp edges. And then that, you just fold that one section in, and this will come over the top to form the outside of your card. Take the tape backing off that one. Fold this across, make sure it's nice and even down that side, and push that down. So there's your lid of your box. Now these, I'm going to try and keep that rough edge at the back. So I want this to the front. My last piece that I pull in will be the nice clean edge along there. So all of these, you can just put a bit of glue on here. Fold that inwards. We'll flip it over in a minute and fold that one inwards. That's why you don't notch these, because it ends up nice and square for you when you're finished. And then this last one, I'm going to put glue all over the piece. That will be the last one on. And push that in, flip it over, and just run your bone folder in there to get them all nice and flat. And that's the lid of my inner box, which fits comfortably on there. I've got the decoration for that here, which that's the outside one. This is the inside one. I'll put it flat, and then I'll pop the bells up on dimensionals. That one on there. And some dimensionals. We'll put on the back of our bells. I've got some little berry type embellishments. They're new. They're in the online exclusives as well. That you can. They're little red clusters of red berries and pearl berries. They're quite cute. I've bought a few packs of them. Take those backs off. I'm just going to crisscross those a little bit on the top of that. Like so. We'll finish that decoration in a minute. That will come up, and then we shall do the lid of this, which I shall get the last page. So this one here, the shorts, not that one, the outer box lid. Score at 3/4 of an inch. Trimmer, 3/4 of an inch on all four sides. which is easy enough to do. This is sort of a box inside an explosion box. So that's those, and then we're going to form a box, the lid of a box. So I'll fold and burnish those. I'm trying to go a little bit quicker for you, so all my decorations are ready to put on. So, and I'm going to decorate this before I assemble it. But the cuts on these, you're just going to cut up that score line there to that score line. Same on this side, and I always do this exactly the same every time. I'm going to notch that tab and there. Same with this one. Notch my tab. Flip it around 180. Cut up there and there. You're just cutting up to that inner score line and notch. Notching just gives you room for it to slot inside your other sections. That's the reason we notch, so it fits nice and comfortably in there without catching on the edges. Now I'm going to put some tear and tape on those. Got a nice mess at the side here. Lost the end, there it is. I'll put 2 little bits on this. Actually, I'll show you how I do this quicker. The lid of my liquid glue, and just push that, put that down. I'm right-handed, so I've got the tape in my right hand, this in my left hand, and just roll it across the tape and flick it. And it's a lot quicker than picking your scissors up and down. If you're doing multiple pieces of tear and tape, I could have done it earlier on some of those others, but just to show you how I do it when you're in a hurry. Works exactly the same. Give it a nice firm flick. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's worth it in the end. Burnish my tear and tape. Almost done. Backing's off. We'll take them all off because we're almost done. Normally I would just take off 2 sides, but it's not going to get stuck on anything in saying that. Who knows? Actually, before I do that, I'm going to pop these on. These are the top doesn't matter so much, but these outside bits, they're easier to get on when it's flat. So maybe don't take your tear and tape off first, but that's okay. These can slot in just around here. Got 4 of those. You could put DSP around the sides. I liked a little bit of texture on these, so I decided to emboss them. The other ones were embossed as well. I think I used the cane weave embossing folder on the other one, the pink one. This one's the metal plate one. Got some nice textured embossing folders with Stampin' Up. Don't know if anyone's done an order for them from their mini catalogue yet. I've done a big one, so I needed to order some stuff. Our retreat in October is mainly Christmas cards, so we've designed all a friend of mine and I, we've designed all the projects, but they're done in other papers. We've got to make some samples with the Christmas paper when it arrives. So that is just going to flip around to form the lid. They all slot in underneath. Get a nice straight edge there lined up with the other side, and just flip them all around like so. Almost done. Thank you for those that are still watching. Bear with me. And this is my decoration for the top and this little one here when we get it out of the rubble. So I shall stick that flat because I've got dimensionals on the back of that other little greeting piece. Pop that one on there. The reason we do the 1/16 measurements is so that the lid does fit comfortably over the box. If you have it any other size, it's not going to fit properly. You'll have trouble getting it on. So that's the lid. Pop this one up and a few embellishments and we're done. Just pop that in there. Bring this back in. And these are the embellishments. So you've got some clusters of 3 and some individual ones. They're called cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries. I'm just going to put a few on this. Not too many. I might put just the individual ones, one up on each of these. You could go berserk with all your decorations, and I'll put it up the top. There's a little bit more room at the top. One on there, that'll be enough. And then that pulls up, and this lid goes on nicely. Just have to push it in a little bit to start till it gets itself manoeuvred in. But as you can see, there's no bubbling around the box. And that's my little box. And that's that one. That fits comfortably with this one. Actually, we'll leave the lid off them just to show you what they look like. The cardstock's still a little bit stiff, so once you've moved it a few times, it'll open up. And that's your little inner box. Sorry if that took so long, but I knew it would. Lots of pieces and lots of bits to do, so have a go. Just keep watching the video and see how you go. And I shall make sure I've got the measurements correct before I post them into the video. Thanks again for watching, and have a lovely week, and I'll catch you all again next Monday. Bye for now.